Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Nerd Chronicles, which hosts the socially awkward nerd, Christian Paul speaking. Y'all, I've been telling y'all many times about therapy, okay? And the reason why I stress out about getting yourself a mental health specialist, getting yourself a psychologist, a personal therapist, not a personal therapist for physical therapy, but the mental health specialist, psychologists, psychiatrists, those type of board certified specialized people, you know what I'm saying? They're there to mainly help give you strategies and literally try to help you improve your mind and help you improve your life. And I am literally proof of that, literally right here. Ladies and gentlemen, as many of you know, I'm autistic. I have Asperger's syndrome. I am definitely in the autism spectrum disorder, barely on the autism spectrum disorder. And it took me a while for the majority of my life, mentally and physically, on how I got even to this point today. All started when I was very, very young, mid-90s. Parents actually just helped me out, set me up with a speech therapist, actually helped me with communicating with words, because I tend to actually have to communication slurred up at times. I still have remnants of it definitely now, but it was worse when I was much younger, okay? I fully thank her so deeply in regards with that, so much so that I actually literally grew up with her, seeking advice from her most of the time. And we ended up becoming actually very close friends to today, right? I have another psychologist that I relate to that I seek guidance in, since the 7th grade. And I still seek with her guidance from here and there. You know what I'm saying? I'm literally living proof of that. Anytime I deal with any stressful situation or any other stuff that I'm not even prepared for, that I don't know, I mainly go to them for guidance as last resorts. And their advice helped basically mold me and help basically mold my social skills on what I need to do better moving forward. You know what I'm saying? They're like a huge components of that. And this is why I mainly stress to everybody on why therapy is literally crucial for anyone. You feel me? Therapy does not make you weak. It makes you stronger. It gets you a better game plan on how to maneuver through life. You know what I'm saying? They have therapists literally within every spectrum. Even therapists actually literally try to give guidance to those that don't even know how to actually manage their money. And they're literally millionaires, and they're passed on and basically heirs to a billionaire's fortune based on a founder's fortune. And they're overwhelmed actually how to handle that money. You know what I'm saying? And they have therapists for that too. Now, what I didn't thoroughly tell you in through detail throughout all the videos here, I just never had a chance to actually maybe discuss it, but I will definitely do it now, is to how to sniff a very good therapist that fits your needs, that fits your circumstances, that basically fits virtually your life story, that can literally help benefit you in the long run. And I'm going to give you the signs on which type of therapist to mainly pick, when it comes to these things that you feel is a good fit for you. And then that's a guideline how you should evaluate it. And those are my recommended guidelines for it. So let's start with the first one. While we see a lot of gangster dogs barking up in the background, clue number 1. Is the therapist basically, it can be related to an expertise that you're looking for when it comes to social skills. What type of expertise are you mainly seeking, given your deficiencies? That's basically number 1. That is number 1 that you really need to focus on right there. Have you checked due diligence on that therapist's background? Is that therapist mainly board certified within that expertise? You know what I'm saying? Given that nature, that's definitely number 1. Number 2, is the therapist as neutral as possible given his or her history on how he or she handles patients, right? And there are health insurances that are willing to accept therapists as well. You can definitely utilize your insurances to pay for those services as well. That's option one. Or you can utilize definitely paying out of pocket, depending on how much they charge. Or if you want to try and do it online, that's fine as well. Whether it's in person, whether it's online. What's that person's track record? What is that therapist's track record on, like, given how they handle certain situations? That's something that you need to vet the therapist on. That's something that you really need to ask that therapist in regards to that question. And normally therapists do give free consultations in regards with that. So at least you'll be able to actually give a better thorough ground given those situations. Those are really the two key factors that you really need to focus on, is specialty, expertise, and a specialty. And the second one is that therapist, is that psychiatrist, psychologist, as neutral as possible when it comes to situation? You want to try and make sure you get a therapist that has as little bias as possible. Now, here is a iffy statistic that I do want to point out, that I can understand why certain folks are reluctant to go to therapy. You have to understand, and this is some hard research that I found on this. Therapists, any form of therapy that's there, you know, like I forgot the word. The practice of therapy, right? Practice of therapy is basically a female-dominated field. You know, the minority of therapists that are around the United States, at the very least, are male. You know what I'm saying? And I want to actually try and get to that. Like, for the women, right? If they follow those two big clues and steps, and they find a woman that can easily relate to them, that is a huge win. But for the men, however, it is a much different story. I deeply understand why some men go to the manosphere as a last resort, due to the fact that they feel their issues aren't even heard. You don't have anyone that have any type of relationship trying to get them through life, and actually how to better the cues and literally how to better improve their life, better improve their social skills, how to actually successfully get women, how to be in a marriage, how to establish serious relationships with women. I can understand why some dudes flock to the Andrew Tates, why some dudes flock to the Myron Gaines, Kevin Samuels of the world, Alpha M's of the world. You know what I'm saying? I fully understand, you know, why they flock to Jay Waller, Steph is cold, you know, FitX Fearless. You know, I could go on and on and on and on and on. Given the fact and given the hard statistic that the practice of therapy is primarily female driven, and majority of the therapists in the United States are females, it's going to be hard for a woman to fully understand basically a man's nature, given like a man's prowess, given a man's urges, how men operate, how men physically operate, how men psychologically operate. It's going to be very thoroughly hard on how to sniff these things out. You know what I'm saying? And I do want to literally speak to the men in regards to that. It's the best way to handle some type of stuff that's there. There's nothing wrong with getting any therapist of any gender, okay? As I said before, make sure that person is thoroughly neutral as possible, okay? But in certain cases, when it comes to men's issues, sometimes getting a male therapist, in a case like this that's neutral, that can thoroughly relate, that can actually be thoroughly in use, and not like one of those hardcore male feminists that's literally trying to kiss ass and kiss behind, pardon my language, and literally kowtow to women, not even actually holding women accountable for their wrongdoings, all these things. You want to try and make sure you get a male therapist that is just even keel and thoroughly neutral, okay? That'll give it to you straight out, keep things thoroughly real, and keep things definitely practical on how you should handle your stuff in the social world as well in the psychological world as well, to help maintain your mental health, okay? No therapist, whether it's male or female, whether you're a man and woman looking for help, okay? ain't gonna fully save your life. It's not gonna fully solve everything that's going on in your personal life. You still have to seal the deal. You still have to put in the majority of the work to really actually try and help try and actually help improve your life. I'm not saying therapy is not needed. Therapy is needed because it gives you more clarity. It gives you a better strategy. It gives you another extra opinion on how you should actually try to utilize and go through life in the social world, which is extremely huge literally down the line. The more options and the more opinions that you have up in your tool belt, the better your outcomes will be whenever you actually make smart choices when it comes to the social realm, when it comes to the professional realm, academic realm, and even actually trying to calm your nerves psychologically. You know, when it comes to the scientific research, all that stuff. When it comes to the scientific, when it comes to the data, it can literally help you literally down the line big time. Which is why I mainly stress why therapy is extremely important today. And one quick example before I actually wrap this up. There's a therapist by the name of Jeff St. James from the Ask About It podcast that I want to give a huge shout out to. He is a legitimate board certified mental health therapist in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. They'd be able to look him up and he literally helps to seek advice when it comes with social skills, relationship skills, when it comes to men, especially with black men, definitely with any man in particular, as well as I mainly stress these things out. He's a great guy to go on, and he also helps out with women's issues as well. He is neutral as possible as he can be. I recommend you guys to literally go see him and definitely go check out his channel, check out his content. He is legit giving his expertise and giving his knowledge when it comes to relationships, when it comes to dating, especially when it comes to building families. He is definitely a legitimate one to mainly follow. Now, let me get up out of here because I got to literally get myself on the way home. You know, just got myself a long drive doing a big errand. I got to crash, man. I really got to crash. See y'all.